What I want to talk to you about, and you would be a great person to actually discuss with, is that people actually mistake our old teachings or
Mm-hmm.
our old wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that a lot of the times when I talk about parenting, and I'm coming from a place where I completely believe in authentic parenting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm coming from that place, a lot of people will come at me by saying, no, but the elders are right. You should listen to what the elders have to say. You
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like me trying to explain to them that, age is not actually, something that proves that you're wiser than a 5-year-old. I've learned a
Yeah,
lot from my son who's 5,
sure.
and there's things I can challenge in an elder person, but it's like here to break through that boundary so that we can be open, so that
Correct.
someone is, how do we open up that elder generation to
Mm-hmm.
honestly just be open to understanding that there are different ways, that we should all be learning in life. We should all be focusing on raising empowered families. We shouldn't have hierarchy in the house. We should have leaderships.
Correct.
And
Correct.
some people are good at leading in this, let them take
Absolutely.
the charge. And some people are good at leading in that thing, let them take the charge.
Correct.
I feel threatened, just because someone maybe is bringing home the money, that doesn't make a leader, because someone else
Yes.
is also raising the kids,
Correct.
So leadership should be a joint thing. So how do you implement that sort of thinking in regards to people who think they have misunderstood our old texts? And I think they think that, no, you should just listen to what you're told.
Yes.
You should just
Yes.
listen to what the grown-ups are saying. How do you sort of overcome that aspect?
Correct. So, like we were talking about yesterday, in our conversation,
Yes.
that in our epics and in our ancient texts, there has always been the liberty to speak up. Correct? Now, the question is, should we be challenging an elder person? Isn't it?
Yes.
My question is, should we be challenging someone who's not doing it right? Rather, take the elder or the younger out.
Yes.
It's not about elder, younger, or equals. It's
Absolutely.
about should we be challenging something that's not right? Should we be challenging something that's not healthy for the ecosystem? Should we be challenging something that is having a wrong impact on the family or the world at large? Should we be challenging something that is not in for the well-being of the person whom we are challenging?
Absolutely.
And in every question that I've asked, the answer most thoughtful people will give is yes, we should. Correct. Now, once the question is, should we be challenging a person who is ABC? Should we be challenging a person who's not doing it right? ABC, all of these things. Then replace that question with, should we be challenging an elder who is not doing it right? Should we be challenging an elder who's not having that impact? Should we be challenging an elder who's not concerned about his well-being and doing things in a rigid, non-flexible way? And the answer would be yes. It's not a question of elder, younger, or equal. We will definitely do it with great sensitivity. We will definitely do it with great respect. But it must be done regardless of who the person is. Wrong is wrong if everybody is doing it. Right is right even if nobody is doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
You can't change right and wrong just because someone's doing or someone's not doing. Correct? So from our epics, from our histories, here we have these principles that we can be assertive, not arrogant.
Yes.
We can be respectful, yet communicate our points with sensitivity. And in terms of the other generation, on the other side, we can say, okay, I'll learn how to be assertive. I'll learn how to say, okay, challenge my elders and say, okay, this is something that we could have done better. Correct? But how would they open themselves up to this? Isn't it? Which is why I think communication is a very important principle. We have to sit down on the table and talk. If we do not talk, if we do not discuss, the same old rigid patterns repeat themselves. Correct? And when we communicate, we have to communicate in a way that we solicit a yes. Correct? So which basically means, how do we look at a win-win? How do we look at a win-win? How do we say that, okay, your interests are taken care of and our interests are taken care of, In fact, it's not your or mine, it's our interests
Ours.
are taken care of
Yes.
as a family, you know. So when we talk to elders, or for that matter to anybody, three things need to be remembered at all times in our communication. You know, number one is, do we have the right motive? And the right motive is not to be holier than thou.
Yes.
The right motive is not to be, you know, aggressive, assertive, but not aggressive. The right motive is to benefit the larger family and not just, you know, okay, I believe, so I want it done.
Yes.
It's not I
Yes.
believe, it's we should believe, correct?
Yes.
So we should have the right motive. Number two, we should know the right way to do it. Often it's not what is said, but how it is said that makes a lot of difference. And especially with elders, how it is said is so very important. Simply because they have age in their favor. They have a little more experience, quote unquote, from the world that they've lived in their favor. And obviously that kind of a superiority demands respect. So how do we present it is very crucial. That will open their minds up rather than closing them up. And number three is it the right timing? When do we speak it? You know, when do we speak it? If there's something that's going wrong in the house, and suddenly we bring it up saying, look, this is how you've done it this way, look what the outcome is. What if we just gave it 2 weeks to pass and then sat down and communicated and said, hey, wait a minute, you know, 2 weeks back this happened. How could we have done different? How could we have done it differently to avoid that? You know, so taking inputs from them, sharing our inputs. It's a dialogue. Sanskrit is called samvad, you know, and in that dialogue, I think there is a possibility to open hearts, open minds, and then, of course, when we serve them and we make emotional investments in relationships with them, that side also opens their hearts up, you know. So I think these are a couple of points I would say, you know, we should have the courage to challenge, and they should also have the openness to be challenged.
I loved what you said, because I am all about being very honoring who I am, honoring everybody for who they are.
Yes.
So I always live by that. I don't expect other people to change so that I feel better, you know, and that same way I honor who I am and have that relationship, you know, authentically with people.
Correct.
But I learned from this moment is to actually choose the timing.
Yes.
Like choosing, being patient to
Correct.
when to say it, how to say it.
Yes.
That has really, really touched with me.